How y'all doing? Welcome back to another motorcycle video. In today's episode, we are back with the Honda 450 Revival. At the end of our last video, I said that I wanted to get the original motor back to the same state as the donor motor. So I went ahead, I popped the case off, I pulled the transmissions that I have setting over here, have them separate and everything like that, because I wanted to see what the problem was. Unfortunately, I don't see any shifting fork issues. There's nothing wore down or broke. So that leads me to believe that the actual problem is either in the shifting barrel itself that connects the shifting forks or the transmission itself. That being said, I'm going to take all of the parts that were in the donor motor and I'm going to swap them into the original motor, and we'll see if we can't get this bike to have its third gear. I probably won't get the motor running today, but I'll get hopefully the motor in running condition and buttoned back up so that it can be put back in the motorcycle. Let's get started. For each shifting fork, we have a shifting pin that is held in place by a retainer clip. Not sure if you'll be able to see it moving right in through here, but so each one has a shifting pin and a shifting clip that holds that pin into place. That pin rides in a track on the shifting barrel, and the shifting barrel has a C-shaped clamp on the other side held in by two bolts. First, we need to take out the shifting pin clips, then the pin, then we'll take out the other shifting pin clips and pins, then we will remove the screws for the C-shaped clamp that holds in our shifting barrel. Then we should be able to remove all of that out. There's our shifting clip. And there's our shifting pin. That clip goes through the shifting fork and goes in this little tiny crease here and holds it into place. I want to make a note that the thicker part of this pin goes down into the hole. The smaller part stays up towards the top. There's our 2 bolts, and there is our shifting barrel recess clip. Now we should be able to pull the shifting barrel out There we go. I don't see any damage on the shifting barrel, so the damage must be in the transmission, but we're going to go ahead and swap everything out anyways. These shifting forks are aligned just like this, and they should have a letter or an indicator mark on which shifting fork goes where. There's the right one. Yeah, it says R4. See if we can get that in view. Then there's C2 right here for the center. And I'm not seeing the left side, but either way, that's how they go in. It's the right, it's on this way, it's all the way to the left, but when the motor is right side up, it's at the right, then the center, and then the left. So the first 2 go on the same, and then the third one goes on backwards. Alright, now I'm ready to insert the shifting barrel and the shifting forks out of the donor motor into our original motor. Okay, now we can start putting the pins and then the clips back in. There we go. Third clip is in. Now we can put the retaining clip for the shifting barrel and the bolts back in. Now when you put these bolts back in, you want to use a little bit of Loctite to keep them in place so that they don't work their way back out. I will be using the Loctite Thread Locker Red 21. It says permanent. Heavy duty for large fasteners, 10 minutes, should be sealed up good. wipe down these screws real quick so that way we get a good bond. Find a clean spot on the towel, I guess. The cleanest spot. There we go, that don't look too bad. There we go. Now, a little bit of Loctite goes a long way. Again, a little bit of Loctite goes a long way. And then we'll snug these up nice and tight. There we go. Now we are ready to put our transmission back in. You want to make sure you have this dowel pin and this bearing seat all in place. It needs to click down into place. There. There we go, we're good there. It's rolling good. Now we'll do the same thing with the lower part of the transmission. Same thing, here's our little dowel, positioning dowel, and we've got our bearing retainer here. Get our shifting forks up here into place. Looks like we might have fallen right into place. Oh. There we go. I believe that's it. Looks like everything is rolling good. All right. What we'll do now is we will clean up all these surfaces all the way around. We'll put down some sealant, then we'll be able to put our bottom case back on. What I'll be using to seal up this bottom case is Seal-All. As you can see, it's automotive, it's clear or transparent, quick set. You know, it's good. It's gas and oil resistant, so it's what I'm going to use. Now you don't need a whole lot. But you do want to kind of spread it all the way around. So that it'll tack up. And we're also going to put some down here in this channel where our seal goes. Okay. Place our seal in here. And then we'll put a little bit over the top as well. There we go. Now you have two dowel placements here that allow oil to flow, so you don't want to forget where those pins are at. I went ahead and left them in the bottom case. So I'm going to go ahead, now that that's all sealed back up, we'll let it tack up for a couple of seconds. And we are ready to put our bottom case back on. Everything looks like it went back in real decent. Okay. Now I went ahead and made up a diagram where all these bolts go on our bike here. That one goes there. That one goes there. I didn't want to get confused and put the wrong bolt back in the wrong hole. So I just went ahead and made up a little diagram, placed the bolts in there as I took them out. So now they can go right back in the same hole that they were taken out of. And now we only have our 4 bottom bolts that go on the top side. As you can see, I have it marked top side here. Now that means I'll have to put those in once I get this motor done and all tightened up. I just wanted to snug all these up before I figure out what the torque specs are and tighten them up to the proper torque spec. The torque specs for these bolts, the larger bolts are 15 to 18 pounds, and the smaller ones are 7 to 9. So let's go ahead. I've got the torque wrench to between 17 and what is it, between 15 and 20, I believe. You want to do it in cross pattern increments so that way you're not warping the case. Okay. I'm good. I'm good. That one's good. That one's good. That's all of them. Yep, now we'll switch to the 7 to 9, all the smaller ones, everyone that's left. You loosen up the bottom here, and you'll, because we're already between 15 and 20, or 19, so now we'll take it down between 7 and 9. There we go. Not sure if you could see that or not. Now we'll hit all these. Going. You don't want to over tighten these because it's going into an aluminum casing with steel bolts. Again, these are the smaller bolts, so these will get torqued to 7 to 9 pounds, foot-pounds of torque. Evidently I didn't get all the oil out because it looks like there's still coming some out here. Some came out through the intake manifolds. So I'm sure this thing is probably going to smoke like a bitch when it actually gets started up. I think that's probably going to do it. It ain't registering on the torque wrench, so I don't want to strip it out. But I think we are all done here. That's all the bolts back in. So all I need to do now is get the bike put back, or get the motor put back in the bike. Alrighty y'all, that's it for this video. We got the new shifting forks put in, the new shifting barrel, we got all the new gears put in, everything's moving around good. We got the bottom case put back on, we got all the bolts in and torqued to their proper specs. So I think we're good. The next video will consist of the motor being already in the bike and putting everything on as far as everything that came off regarding the magneto, the stator, starter, front sprocket, oil pump, oil filter, clutch, side covers, hooking up the wiring, putting the carbs back on, starting up the bike, taking it for its first ride. There will be another video after that, tearing down the rest of the donor motor just for, extra parts. If these are the kind of videos you like, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I sure appreciate it, and it helps out the channel. Y'all have a good day.